How bad do you want to win? This is always the question, right? Not everyone gets the life that they want. Not everybody gets the life that they desire because it's about how bad you want to win. How much are you willing to sacrifice? How much are you willing to push and go after the life that you want? How much are you focused on that North Star in order to get to the life that you want? And again, winning is how you define winning, right? How you define winning. What does that look like in your life? Everyone's win is different. First things first, you got to define what winning looks like for you. What is winning? There could be some material things that are winning. There could be some relational things that are winning. There could be some health things. There could be some spiritual things. Like there's a lot that comes into that word of winning, but you get a chance to define what that is. But once you define it and you know what winning is for you, what that looks like in your life, then it's on us to go out and make that happen, to make that a possibility, to make that the reality of your life. So ET gave you a couple things there, right? Again, I talked about it right at the beginning of this call. What are we consuming, right? Consumption is more than what we're just putting in our mouth. Consumption is what are we putting in our ears, our eyes? Who has our ear? That whole statistic, right? We get 36,000 thoughts a day. 80% of them are negative just out of our own self, right? This is why when we have these calls and I talk to you about reprogramming your brain, reprogramming your mind, like this is kind of, if we just allowed nature to kick in, if we just allowed, right, the natural to kind of kick in, 80% of our thoughts are going to be negative. 80% of what you are saying to yourself is not a positive, affirming, right, comment or word for yourself. Naturally, it's negative. So that's why reprogramming our mind through affirmations, through things that are constantly telling us what we should believe about ourselves, talking good to ourselves, changing the language that we have to others and to ourselves is one of the keys. I think I talked about it a couple mindset calls ago, right? Just changing our language. So number one, changing the language, reprogramming how you talk to yourself. But then, like he said, the action step today is you got to eliminate the negative people around you, the people that just want to talk gossip. My wife used to hate when I use this saying, but I would always say, right? Poor people talk about other people. Average people talk about events. World-class people talk about the future, talk about ideas. So when you're around people and you start to hear what their typical language is, are they talking mostly about people, about other people? It could be athletes. It could be people in your neighborhood. It could be coworkers. It could be their family. But are they talking about people? If so, tells you where their mind is. Average people talk about events, the vacation coming up, the thing that's coming up next weekend, the thing that happened last weekend, the event side of things. World-class people are talking ideas and future. You heard ET say it, like if you get around somebody like in Eric Thomas, a coach, somebody, you should be talking about future. You should be talking about ideas. You should be talking about plans. I know it's hard to switch because of where we come from, where most of us come from. We're not encouraged to talk about our plans and our ideas and our future. But when you get to around other world-class people, other people that are thinking on the same wavelength of getting to our desired ideal life, well, that's when we should only be talking about ideas, about our futures, about our plans, about our strategies. You just have to get into that circle. You can't share those things with poverty-minded or average-minded people because, of course, they'll shoot it down because they just want to talk about people and events, right? They just want to talk about people and events. But for us saying, hey, you know what? I want to get to this next level in life. I want to grow. I got to get around people that are talking ideas, that are talking plans, that are talking good things. And so that's a challenge. That's a challenge to all of you this week to get around the right people. Get around the right people. It's so incredibly important to be able to do that and then be able to talk ideas. If you find yourself around people that are overly negative, that are overly gossipy, and again, we're gonna have challenges. I think he said that in there. So sometimes when you hear this message, it's like, oh, I can't just be happy all the time or good all the time. I get it. We all have challenges. We all have things, but what you choose to focus on, what you choose to come out of your mouth, right? You might need a 5-minute vent session. That's fine. You might have that person that you need to just talk to for 10 minutes to get it all out. And then it's right back to ideas, future, the goals, the plans, the North Star, right? The strategies. You have to understand that we all are human. So we're going to have some of those times where we need to complain or we need to let something out or we need to vent. That's fine. But if that's your MO every day, if that's the bulk of your conversation every day, if that is your friend group, your circle of the average of the 5 people you spend time with, if that's how they operate every day, then you know that that's just how you're operating, that you're just operating out of that place. So we have to reprogram. Starts with our language, what we're saying to ourselves, and then what we're saying out loud to other people, and who has our ear, what has our eye. Who has our ear, what has our eye. That consumption will put you on a trajectory to either get to the life that you want or take you far away from the life that you want. It's up to you. But at the end of the day, it's about winning. You define what winning is, but you got to go out and you got to win. What it says in 177 Mental Toughness Secrets of the World Class, the world class is determined to win. Like ET said, how bad do you want to win? Are you determined to win? Or it would be nice if you did. Like it would be okay. I'd accept it. That's how people talk about the lottery or like financial winning, right? If I hit the lottery, that'd be great, right? Like if I could, I'd take it. I wouldn't turn it back in. But they're not determined to win. They're not like, no matter what, I'm going to win. My family is going to win. We are going to get to this place. Like that is a determination that they have. And so we have to build that in us. Here's what it says in the text. It says, as simple as it sounds, many times the only thing that separates winners from losers is pure determination. Say that one again. As simple as it sounds, many times the only thing that separates winners from losers is pure determination. That's it. It's just how determined are you to go after it and to not stop no matter what happens, no matter how you feel, no matter what's going on in your circumstances, no matter what challenges, like how determined are you, right? It says while the winning difference may be slight, the thought process that makes the difference is huge. Amateur performers spend a substantial amount of time negotiating the price of victory. Amateurs seem to have an endless tape looping through their minds asking, is the effort worth the reward for winning? Meanwhile, champions focus on winning. Their attitude is whatever it takes. Champions don't negotiate their efforts and sacrifices en route to victory. The decision to pay any price and bear any burden in the name of victory was made long before the game started. This subtle difference in thinking is a huge advantage. Nowhere is this more apparent than when pain occurs. Amateurs feel pain and seek escape. Professionals expect to feel pain and have been mentally trained to push past it while maintaining a world-class level of performance. Champions are the warriors of the world. Their outstanding preparation, both mental and physical, makes them unstoppable and ferocious on any performance field. The attitude is whatever it takes. This is why I said, you got to make sure that you know what winning looks like for you. You have to, if you want a big life, if you want the life that you don't need a break from, if you want to design your ideal life, take care of your generations, pass on a major legacy, like whatever winning is for you, you have to define that up front so that you can say, well, whatever it takes. I know there's going to be pain. I know there's going to be challenges on this road to victory. I know that. And I'm willing to do whatever it takes. Because the opposite is, like it says here, amateurs, right, are negotiating the price of victory because they don't really know what they want. It's kind of what ET was saying in the beginning of that, right? You kind of look to other people You're kind of paying attention to other things, right? You're looking at, you don't know what your North Star is. So then anytime we hit major adversities, our feelings aren't in it, right? We get a little down. Those things, we negotiate the price we're willing to pay because we're not clear on what actually like the victory is, what the finish line is, what winning is. We don't really know. So that's what makes it hard. Then we start negotiating. Is it worth it? Should I really be doing this? I don't really know if this is for me. Maybe it's easier if we're not determined to win, maybe because we haven't determined what winning actually is, or we just haven't been mentally trained enough to do whatever it takes. Many of us want to go off and be entrepreneurs and build a life that we don't need a break from and control our income and not have a boss and all those things. Then you got to be determined to win. You got to be determined to go through all of the things that you're going to go through in order to get to that place. The decision to pay any price, like it says here, the decision to pay any price and bear any burden in the name of victory was made long before the game started. Long before you got on this road, you were like, I'm going to make this happen. It's the difference. Again, it says it here. The winning difference may be slight. The thought process is what makes this difference huge. Your thought process. What do we always say? Change your thinking, you change your life, right? So the thought process behind you winning and what that looks like is what will allow you to create an attitude of whatever it takes. You no longer are going to negotiate the price. Too many people negotiate the price of what it takes to win. They see that it gets hard, they shrink their dreams. You have this ideal, grandiose life that you want to live, then it gets really hard, it gets really challenging, you can't really see a way, you have to change, you have to learn, you're super uncomfortable, you hit some financial hiccups, you hit some relational hiccups, all the things start happening, and most people then negotiate, well, maybe that's not the life I want. If it happens, sure, but if not, I'm just going to kind of throttle it down a little bit. That's the opposite of what a world-class person would do. That's the opposite of what you have to do in order to design your ideal life. We got to be determined to win. You got to be determined in your being to say, I'm going to go through whatever this takes. And again, back to the point, you get to determine what winning is. You get to determine what that is. Understand, if winning to you, right, is not something that you need faith for, or it's a God-sized dream, it's something you think you can attain. When you attain it, you're going to have to figure out what winning looks like again, because it's not going to satisfy you. Remember, it's not necessarily about the goal. It's about who you have to become in order to get to that goal. If your dreams are too small, you don't have to change to get there. You can be the same person that you are, and you can get there. That's typically not what winning looks like in our lives, because progress is what equals happiness. It's our ability to grow and progress and become different. So when we set a big goal, a big dream, a God-sized dream that you don't even know how you're going to get there, that typically is what winning looks like, because now you are forced to become different. You're forced to grow. You're forced to learn. You're forced to get new relationships. You're forced to build your character. You're forced to put yourself in environments that you maybe aren't used to, aren't accustomed to. That's how we get to winning. That's how we get to designing our ideal life. That's how we get to the life that we don't need a break from. Vince Lombardi, legendary coach, said, winning isn't everything, but wanting to win is. You got to keep that fire, y'all. Keep that fire of wanting to win. Keep that fire of saying what winning is to you, and you're going to be determined to go off and get it. The action step in the book for today says scale from 1 to 7, 7 being most determined. How determined are you to accomplish your goals and dreams? An assessment of the results you have achieved so far is an accurate measure of how determined you've been in the past. But from here on, looking into the future, how determined are you to get to the life that you want? That's the question. How bad do you want it? How bad are you willing to fight? How much are you willing to fight? How much are you willing to sacrifice? How much are you willing to go through the ups and downs of life to get your family to the life that you thought that they would have. Some of you have children, some of us have children. How bad do you want them to have the life that they deserve? Are you willing to take all the no's? Are you willing to grow? Are you willing to sacrifice? Are you willing to get punched by the world and knocked down and get back up constantly just so that they can win? If that's winning for you, if your child living the life that you want them to have, if that's winning, if it's in your health, if it's in your relationships, you determine it. But then we got to go out and make it happen, y'all. We got to go make it happen. I love you guys. I want you to win. I say it all the time. That's why we're talking about winning. I want you to win. We're all on the path of winning, right? We're all on the path of winning. We're all on the path of getting to the life that we deserve. But it takes work. It takes sacrifice. You can't negotiate the price. The price has to be paid in full upfront for the life that you want. You can't negotiate it. When times get tough, when things get hard, you can't look for the route to escape. Stay on the path. You got to keep rolling. You got to keep going. You got to keep pushing. That's the way you win. Your future self will thank you for that. Your future self will thank you for that. So you don't have the regrets of, man, I wish I would have stayed on the path a little longer. Man, I wish I would have pushed a little bit harder. You don't want to say that. You want to say, I gave it all. I gave everything. I got uncomfortable. I grew. I learned. I pushed myself to get to the life I deserve. We all deserve it. I love you guys. We'll come back here on Friday and make this thing happen. You guys enjoy your Wednesday. Go out there, do something that scares you today that your future self is going to thank you for. All right. Take care.